Because you guys asked for it, I'm once again spinning the Wheel of Famous stories and the Wheel of Famous styles to create even more insane animated mashups. The stories and styles we landed on last time have been replaced with new ones. And it'll once again be up to you guys to determine if these mashups are cursed, blessed, blurst, mersed, cursed, or burst. I don't know what that was. Let's start by spinning for this story. Family Guy. Okay, so we're doing Family Guy, and let's see what style we're gonna do that in. Dr. Seuss. Okay, should be an interesting one. I'm actually looking forward to doing the Dr. Seuss style. I don't know how Family Guy's gonna go with it, but I guess we'll find out. So we're starting with Family Guy in the Dr. Seuss style, and the Dr. Seuss style is a little hard to get right in animation. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of Seuss's stories have been animated wonderfully, maybe most famously the Grinch TV special, which was led by the legendary Looney Tunes animator Chuck Jones. The special is awesome, the animation is stunning, but it also doesn't really look like Seuss's actual illustrations all that much. In fact, Doctor himself was actually pretty upset that all his designs got Chuck Jonesified. Future animated projects would be more faithful to his original designs. While a lot of these animations look great, even the best of them don't really have the same exact aesthetic as his illustrations. For one thing, Seuss would use pretty limited color palettes. The Grinch wasn't even green in the original book. I think this was due to limits with the printing technology at the time. His later books used a lot more color than his early ones, but those limited colors feel like such a distinct part of his style, and that aspect is always ignored by the cartoon adaptations. But what I love most about Seuss's illustrations is the sheer personality and whimsy that comes through with every pen stroke. His line work is just beautiful and full of character, and a lot of that pure Seussiness gets lost in translation with the cartoons. It's the difference between a cartoonist spending hours inking just one illustration versus the assembly line of a bunch of animators inking cells one after another. You're just not going to get the same level of quality. So for my animation, I'm setting out to capture Dr. Seuss's style more accurately than ever done before. And we're going to start with the designs. With Peter Griffin, I looked mostly at human men from Seuss books. There aren't a lot I could find, but I think I ended up with a pretty good approximation of what a Dr. Seuss version of Peter Griffin would look like. I used the same approach of looking at references to come up with the designs for Stewie, Lois, and Brian. Now I'm not going to include Chris or Meg in this because most Seuss stories didn't really have a lot of characters, and those two won't really be necessary for the story I'm telling. I wrote the script as if it were a Dr. Seuss book called Mr. Griffin Comes Home, showcasing what it meant to be a family guy in the 1950s when Seuss might have written this book. Once I had the script, I started sketching out all the pages. I do want to present this animation as if it's a book, so I'm loosely following the page formatting that a Dr. Seuss book would have. And again, I'm using references as much as I can, like if I need to draw a house, for instance, I'll go into my Dr. Seuss collection and try and find as many examples of house exteriors as I can, just to give me an idea of how a house looks in his style. I do collect Dr. Seuss books. I even have his first book, The Pocket Book of Boners, which isn't nearly as awesome as it sounds. It's actually super racist and has nothing to do with boners. My book about me, I wrote in this between the ages of 4 and 6. I guess we gotta look at that, right? Here are some interesting things about me. I have read about 1 books. My favorite color is red pink. My favorite color is red pink. My favorite song is Teleporting Fat Guy. If you know, you know. I like to write stories. Here's one I wrote. The Smelly Scarecrow. One day, there was a smelly scarecrow. Only guys flew up and they looked like the smelly scarecrow. The end. What? Only guys flew up and they looked like the smelly scarecrow. The end. What? What? Anyways, now it's time to move on to the actual animation. Most of it's going to be pretty simple and limited, but I am going to be using a fun technique called boiling. Boiling is when you actually put the animation in boiling water. I'm just with you. Foiling is when you trace the same frame over and over, so when you play it back, it looks kinda wiggly. This is famously used in Edit and Eddy, and I think it'll help capture that energy that Seuss's line work has, and make everything feel a little more expressive and alive. Now I did do some experiments with actual ink to try and get an understanding of how Seuss did his line work, tracing over his illustrations, and that helped me figure out which digital brush in Photoshop is the best match, and I landed on one called Fontania Versa. I honestly thought about doing this whole animation on real cells, but considering the success of my Bluey animation last time, I thought I can probably make it pretty convincing just using digital. Now I put a lot of care into the inking process and really took my time with each and every frame to try and get them to look as good as I could. Now I'm not as great an artist as Dr. Seuss, but I tried my best and I think I got pretty close with most of it. Now I'm going to be narrating most of the animation myself, but for the characters of Peter, Brian, and Lois, I actually want them to sound like their characters from Family Guy, so I got in touch with some really cool voice actors who do impressions of those characters. You might remember Gonz, who did a great job as Squidward in my SpongeBob video.
Evil pancakes!
Well, he's back to do the voices for both Peter and Brian.
Hi, I'm Peter Griffin. Whoa, that's ahoy.
And for Lois, I got in touch with a talented voice actor named Daringashia.
Peter, the horse is here.
They're both great, and you'll get to hear them in a little bit, but first let's put some finishing touches on the animation. Once I digitally inked every frame, I composited it all together in the program Vegas Pro, and then rendered those composites and took them into After Effects for some final effects and filters. You know how if you get really close up to a Dr. Seuss book, you can actually see the color printing dots a little bit? I actually scanned a bunch of my Dr. Seuss books to extract and isolate those different textures in high quality, a lot like how I got the cell textures for the Bluey animation last time. And with that, the animation is done. So without further ado, I present to you Family Guy in the Dr. Seuss style.
Mr. Griffin Comes Home by Dr. Seuss. In the quaint town of Quahog, on a warm summer's day, Mr. Griffin walked home in a home-walking way. But inside of the house, a disaster took place. Mrs. Griffin, in the kitchen, felt smoke on her face.
Oh my.
She frowned.
I've been too distracted. Our meatloaf for dinner is all burnt to ashes.
In the halls, baby Stewith, his Zort gun goes zap. It goes zap, 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 with a tip and a tap. His Zort gun goes zop, zap, 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 ping, ping. And he sizzled the dog and the walls, everything.
Well, oh dear.
Griffin spoke, stepping in through the door, his household more messy than ever before. It was slurpy and sloppy, a terrible fuss. It was worse than the time Mr. Griffin was sus.
Help us, please.
Shouts the dog, his tail still aflame.
Our home is in shambles. It needs to be tamed. We need us a man who can both laugh and cry. We need in this house but a family guy. Have no fear.
Griffin spoke with his chest held up high.
I know just what to do. There is no need to cry.
So off to the kitchen, the Griffin he ran. And like magic he had a new loaf on a pan. While his wife cooked the loaf, he took to the boy. He plucked up his Zort gun and replaced it with toys. With a brush and a broom, he cleaned each broken pot, and soon dinner was done. Meatloaf, tender and hot.
Why, thank you.
Yes, thank you. You saved the whole day.
All his family cheered.
Yes, hip, 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 hooray. Now,
Griffin said.
there is no need to scream. In the Griffin house, family works as a team. We all do our part. Yes, I'm talking to you. This dinner is thanks to all your hard work, too.
Doesn't that story just warm your hearts, folks? Yeah! Oh, leave a like if you cry every time. There it is, guys. What did you think? Was it cursed? Was it blessed? I think this one falls a little on the cursed side. And also let me know what you thought of my Dr. Seuss style. I'm pretty happy with it overall. I think some of the pages looked a little more convincing than others, but overall, I'm happy with it. I think it's a tricky style to get right because it's just so iconic, but let me know what you think. Huge shout out to the voice actors, Gonz and Daringashia. Both of them were amazing. Links will be in the description, guys. Please go show them some love. Now, before we spin those wheels a second time, I wanted to ask you real quick to please consider subscribing to my channel if you like my videos. We're getting close to 100K and I can't believe it. I started the year with 15K and hitting 100 would be astronomical for me and an absolute dream come true. I really appreciate your support, and with that being said, let's head back to those wheels for another spin. Alright, let's see what story we're going to be animating next. Gravity Falls. Alright. Great show, great show. I'm sure it's about to be ruined. Or maybe made more interesting. Let's see what style we're going to be doing Gravity Falls in. Nintendo Entertainment System. Okay, so Gravity Falls on the NES. Let's see how it goes. So if you've never seen Gravity Falls before, consider this a mild spoiler warning. I'm not going to give away any big events from the show or anything like that, but I will be referencing elements from the first season that could be considered spoilers. So if you're extra sensitive to that, you might want to avoid this segment. And the style is NES. Now, I was not alive when Nintendo's first home console came out back in 1985 with games like Super Mario Bros., Duck Hunt, and Zelda, but the 8-bit graphics are just so iconic. I think this will be a fun style to make a little animation in. But the thing is, Gravity Falls is just a little too modern looking to have a believable NES game that would have come out in the 80s. So before doing any pixel art, we need to reimagine Gravity Falls as if it came out in the 1980s. Here I am illustrating some art of an 80s Gravity Falls. I looked at some other 80s cartoons for the inspiration, and I'm aiming to make it look like promotional artwork for a show that could have existed at the time. And for the background, I just used an existing background from the Gummy Bears, and this art will be used on the cartridge label for the NES game. I gotta say, I'm actually pretty happy with how it came out. As you guys know, I try to be as accurate as I can to every style selected by the wheel. And as I was trying to figure out how to make a fake animation look like a real NES game, I thought to myself, wait, what if I just made a real NES game? You see, I do have some limited experience making games. Ever since I was a kid, I tinkered around with the program Game Maker and created a lot of what could be called novelty PC games. Like this one where I made myself the final boss and you have to avoid piles of my shit. Making actual game ROMs for the NES, though, was incredibly hard for years, until a program called NES Maker was created in 2018. It's very template-based, but I've had fun toying around with it a bit in the past. It's very hard for me to make anything actually good using it, but a lot of the games on NES weren't actually that good. And if we say this was made by LJN, a company notorious for their horrible game quality, I think I can make something passable. I'm using the maze template, so the object of the game is just to move on to the next screen without touching any of the enemies moving around. The graphics are also pretty limited. NES sprites by nature can only have up to 3 colors, so as I'm making Dipper, I'm pretty limited, and it looks a bit worse than I want it to. There are ways to get more than 3 colors, but I'm not really smart enough to figure it out. But it's okay, because like I said, this is supposed to be an LJN game, so any flaws just add to the realism. And to be honest, there's gonna be a lot of flaws, probably to the point where this can barely be considered a game even and won't be fun to play at all. So yeah, but I did figure out how to import an awesome FamiTracker cover of the Gravity Falls theme by N3 Selena, who makes awesome chiptune covers. Huge shout out to her. I'll put a link to her channel in the description. Be sure to check it out if you're into chiptune music. Now, I did have some trouble actually translating her FamiTracker music into the game. At one point it sounded like this. I had to touch it up a lot to work around the limitations of the tech, and by the time I got it working in the game, it sounds a little worse than Selena's original version, but it's still recognizable, and I'll call it good enough. After about 8 days of work, the game was finished, and I figured there's only one way to present it to you guys. So here's Gravity Falls in the NES style, but warning, this might get a bit crude.
He'll take you to an alt universe to play some awful games that are cursed. They make him so enraged and stressed that people call him the Angry Test.
When I was a kid in the 80s, Gravity Falls was the shit. Yeah, that Disney cartoon about two kids solving mysteries and finding paranormal creatures in the woods. I couldn't get enough of it. So when the game came out on Nintendo, naturally, I couldn't be more excited for it. But what I didn't realize at the time was that Rainbow is shit. Yeah, this is an LJN game. The same company that made that shit Amphibia game and that even shit Steven Universe game. So you know we're in for some up doo-doo. The game starts with a cutscene. The kids are bored, and Grunkle Stan suggests they go running around in the woods looking for a secret bunker. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Go run around in the woods, you little Okay, so I'm in the woods and... Wait, did I die? What happened? Okay, let's try to... Wait, did I die again? Okay, let me try going over here. What the happened? I got a game over already? That's right, the game doesn't even give you a chance to figure out what's happening before shitting you up the You play as Dipper and these gnomes will kill you with just one touch. Yeah, remember in the show how those tiny gnomes would kill Dipper with their bare hands? I sure don't. Anyway, you basically just gotta follow this dirt path without touching any of the gnomes. Oh, what the was that? As soon as I got onto the next screen, the gnome was right there already. How was I supposed to know that? Oh no, oh no, oh no. Well, that was close. The graphics look like by the way. Dipper looks more like a smiley face that a little kid would draw. And why do you never play as Mabel? In the show, she's the main character like as much as Dipper, but in the game, she's only in the cutscenes. And in one of them, they even spelled her name wrong. Did nobody proofread this? Grunkle Stan also tells the kids to look for journals, which appear all over this game. Doesn't make any sense. In the cartoon, there were only 3 journals. Why are there so many? And why would Grunkle Stan want Dipper to find them? In the show, he's trying to keep them a secret. Like, what were they thinking? Did they even watch one episode of the actual show? The journals don't even do anything besides give you points. You'd think the points would add up to give you an extra life or something like that, but no, they're totally useless. You might as well be picking up deer turds and raccoon placenta. So, after a lot of frustration, you get to these weird shapes in the ground, which is apparently the secret bunker Grunkle Stan was talking about. And now it's the same bullshit, except with these blue ghosts. And look how unfair they are. The ghosts just linger right there in front of where you're supposed to go. And I'm on my last life here, so I'm really trying to be careful. Okay, looks like I can maybe squeeze through. Great, now I gotta do the whole gnome section all over again. Yeah, that's just what I wanted for a Gravity Falls game. No mysteries to solve, no secrets or clues to discover, just a maze game with some of the most unfair enemies in any video game. These ghosts are real generic. I don't remember any Pac-Man looking ghosts in Gravity Falls. And what's with all the eyes? Or what are these, the eyes of TJ Eckelberg or something? Now look at this, another ghost is right in my path. Come on, come on, come on! Look what happened, it changed up its pattern totally randomly, that's bull. Okay, this time I'm just gonna wait. It won't move. I tried waiting over 2 minutes and it just never moves. I'm just gonna go for it. Seriously, how is this supposed to be fun? Eventually you get to this wheel. Yeah, it's like the wheel in the theme song where all the different symbols represent a different character. So you touch the wheel and then that triangle mother Bill Cipher shows up. I guess he's the final boss.
What was that?
Bill's not messing around. He moves impossibly fast and killed me almost immediately. I guess because this game's only 3 levels, they thought, oh, we'll just make them all really hard. But it's not like a fun challenge, it just pisses me the f off! Okay, I made it back to Bill. Come on, come on. Oh, finally, I actually beat it. Alright, let's see this ending. This better be good. Congratulations, a happy day has come for Gravity Falls. Thanks to Dipper and Mabel, the town is free of the terrible Cipher curse for now. Until a new mystery is unraveled, may all the citizens rest safe. Gravity Falls. Yeah, gravity makes my fall onto the ground. I'd rather gargle the putrid sludge between Grunkle Stan's butt cheeks than play another second of this horrid game. I'd rather cut my own off and feed it to their pet pig Waddles. The cartoon is a classic. I remember staying up late at night rewinding the VHS tape to find all the different clues in the background and solve the mysteries. The only mystery this game has is what the were they thinking? The trauma of playing this game has been buried into my mind ever since I was a kid. It sucked then, it sucks now, and I don't like it. There it is, guys. Gravity Falls in the NES style. Was it cursed? Was it blessed? This was a bit of a different style swap for me. It wasn't even an animation. But I had a lot of fun with it, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little AVGN parody there. Shout out to Sasha Savy, who played guitar on that little intro, Glenn Welman, who did the drums, and Pierce the Sky BM, who did the singing. All of them were great. Links will be in the description. Go show them some love. If anyone was wondering, I illustrated those other game labels in Photoshop and inked that AVGN style title card traditionally before coloring it in Photoshop. And of course, I'll put the game ROM in the description so you guys can play it too if you want. Although I'm not really sure why you would. And now's the part of the video where I go back and spin those 2 wheels one last time. But I'm not going to. Yet. I did spin the wheels again, but I wasn't able to finish that animation in time, and I didn't want to rush it, so I'm actually just going to be making that its own video that'll come out later. Sorry to leave you guys on a bit of a cliffhanger, but trust me, I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't a good one. As always, I want to say thank you for watching. This has been an incredible year for me thanks to all your support. So whatever you celebrate, happy holidays, happy new year, and I'll see you in 2026 for that last spin.